All right, one more time. We're going to focus. This time... Okay, so we've been talking about Lemmy. We probably hawked it like 4 times. We definitely talked about it for a while. I really enjoy my time over there, but getting to Lemmy on the phone is a bit of a chore if all you have is a browser. So, instead of using a browser, I don't know, random nerds like me and Dan tend to use apps on a phone.
Yes.
So, Dan, I know you're on Android. I, myself, am on iOS.
Yep.
So we can't have the same apps a lot of times. I guess if it's Twitter, we can. But if it's something like a Lemmy client,
yep,
those aren't always the same.
Yeah.
So what is it that you use to log into lemmy.linuxuserspace.show?
So I use Jerboa. And no, this isn't the little desert guy that hops around. This is the native Lemmy app for Android.
Okay. This is like Ubuntu had one of these. It wasn't a Jerboa.
No. Jerboa is like a little mouse size, maybe a little
baby
bigger.
kangaroo looking thing.
Yeah, but he looks like a kangaroo. Yeah, he hops around.
Yeah,
It's a desert creature or grasslands too, I guess. Anyway, kind of cool looking dude. Anyway, that's what I use for my app. It's nice. It's got a good look and feel. I've been using it for quite a little bit to interact with our Lemmy instance. It has some interesting theme options, obviously light and dark, but it has some accent color options too. So, above and beyond your regular system theme, you can give it a little coloring as well, which is nice. It's got a good layout, so you can see the feed, and obviously you got your sort options at the top, so you can see the hot items, or, you can see everything, so you get the full fire hose feed in your face, or just the local or subscribed stuff too. So that's pretty nifty. I've had no issues making posts either, because I've been using it quite a bit for posting things, and I know you've seen some of those go through the news thing. It's got a good flow for doing it, much like the web, but it's got a good flow so you can select the right community to post things to. And
does your app show you so like there's Linux at lemmy.ml, and there's Linux at lemmy.world. Does it show you the difference?
Yes.
The web does not, and that is upsetting. You just have to know in which order you subscribed. You can go to the communities and see the order, but it just says Linux twice, and that's hard.
If you use the short code, but if you start searching, you can see the big long name that I gave it, and
okay,
and then you're kind of all set.
Okay,
yeah. So that's the way I usually do it. But it's a more of a drop down option in the application,
right,
rather than type it in. So when you're dropping it down like that, you can easily pick it. So like I said, it's got a good flow. You don't have to type stuff out, because nobody wants to type on their phone. It's absolutely terrible. You want to be able to pick and select things. So for me, it works well.
Right.
As you could guess, with the increased popularity, there's been a lot of updates to these things. So you really want to try to stay on top of getting it updated. You can download Jerboa right from the GitHub. Like they post the APKs right there.
What an Android thing to say.
I know, it's kind of cool, but not everything does that, right? They don't necessarily publish them separate from the stores, but obviously it is in the stores. You can get it in both Google Play Store and F-Droid, which are the two most popular that I know of. And there's probably some other stores that it's posted into, but that's where I've found it. And I use the one from F-Droid because that's just kind of easier for me.
And it's updating and everything. Yeah.
So.
And so I'm the same way. I appreciate just having a quick app that I can, do comments on. That is my thing. I will post from the web. I will on a desktop because I have my newsfeed and everything else. It's all right there.
I typically do too, but sometimes I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll throw it into Discord, throw it into Reddit, throw it into Memmy or Lemmy, and just kind of do that whole situation on the desktop. It feels a little easier to do. But when it comes to someone commenting under one of the posts or commenting directly to me or something like that, it feels a whole lot more native to just do that on a phone. So my choice for that is actually the first, as far as I could tell, the very first Lemmy app to hit the App Store and get through the beta process and blah, 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 and actually get posted. Memmy. So that is Lemmy, Lemmy, but with an M instead of an L. So it's 3 M's, Memmy. And pretty much the same thing as Dan was talking about. So if you're familiar with kind of the Apollo workflow on iOS, if you were using that, Memmy feels a whole lot like that.
Yeah.
Cool. So it is not a huge departure from, and I was a big Apollo user, so it was a very familiar workflow for me. So I like it. I like it a whole lot. I mean, it's got the light and the dark themes, and it is easy to swap between like controversial and hot and new. The different kinds of posts that you can see. You can move from your local subscriptions to your like wider server subscriptions to like all the things. So it's all possible within the app. There's a whole lot of things that are getting added all the time. I swear there were a couple of times where I was like, oh man, I wish Memmy could do this. And then like I closed it and then opened it up a few hours later and realized it was an update. And sure enough, now it can do that.
Yeah, a lot of updates.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that, if we say something, it doesn't do something on this show, that will be wrong in the next 24 hours.
Yeah, it might be.
So I'm not being very specific about what it can and can't do, because by the time you hear it, there's a good chance it can probably already do that. I absolutely have enjoyed Memmy for Lemmy. And yeah, man, I really do recommend it. So if you're on iOS, if you're trying to join one of the Lemmy instances or whatever, you're trying to get access to one of our communities or whatever, I think Memmy is a really, really good way to do it.
Yep.
So, Jerboa, Memmy, whatever side of the fence you're on, get one. Yep. Join us on Lemmy.
Absolutely.
Have a good time. There's a whole lot of stuff going on over there, and it seems a whole lot of activity too. So, yeah, it's a good time.
Yep.